Hi everybody, I'm going to do a live stream trading training. Let's have a see how it goes. I'm going to be talking about a little bit about volume and price action. Ooh, you have to excuse the dingings and things, that's all the alerts on my software. So we're going to go through a little bit of theory, not a lot, because we've got to keep it simple. And then, excuse me, camera's off tilt. And then just going to look at a tiny little bit of software that I've developed just to show that, allow you to understand where that volume is, because it colours in the candles, makes it easier and it's visual to see. So let's have a look and get going. Okay, so we're going to look at two states of volume. We're going to look at accumulation candles. These are bullish candles. And then we're going to look at distribution candles. So these are bearish candles. It's trying to understand the difference between accumulation and distribution is very, very important to understand momentum. Okay, so this is what you would see at the bottom of your chart in a subchart for volume. Okay, it looks different on every platform, but at the end of the day, the height difference is what you're looking for really, and these with accumulation, what we're looking for here is that on this particular candle here we had a set amount of volume. The next candle had higher volume, so there's more buyers. Okay, there's more traders putting in buy orders, okay, than there are sellers. Which makes the brokers increase the price, so someone's prepared to sell. This means the volume is higher on each candle, and then as we can see here, we get a bit of a flat candle there, but then we get accumulation. Now we go to volume distribution, which is the opposite way around. We're selling. You'll notice the differences in heights here are dramatic because things go down a lot quicker than they go up, and there's a lot more volume when they go down as well. So these are sort of giving out, dispersing crypto coins, if you like, or futures contracts. So the first major point to note the distribution days is that it's related to selling, okay? Not buying, and buying is accumulation. We just said that there's more buyers for accumulation, there's more sellers in distribution than buyers, and what happens is if there's a lot more sellers and no one's prepared to sell, you know, they have to lower the price, broker lowers the price until someone's prepared to sell, and then everyone just wants to sell. So people will buy at that price. So we'll get those speculators that will just hold off until the brokers keep putting the price down, and then they'll buy those particular coins or contracts or shares in a stock at that lower price that someone's trying desperately to get rid of, and these are called accumulation days. So the most important thing to look at really is that we have an increase in volume. Okay, this is another volume subchart. We can see here that particular candle has a volume profile here, then the next one is massively bigger, then again massively bigger here. So what happens is we've got that distribution, that sellers, and we have a little bit of a lull, a ceasefire if you like, and then it goes again. But the difference, the massive difference that you see between distribution and accumulation is that once the volume starts to pick up, that momentum to the downside goes. And if we can understand that volume and what happens at pivots with certain candlestick patterns, it's going to help us then try and figure out what is going to happen after that, what the behavior is at that pivot point. And that the volume is really important. But then when we put it with price action, and we're going to look at some very simple candlestick patterns here. So now a lot of this is basically say what you see. Okay, so with this candlestick pattern, where this number 4 is here, the first thing is it's got a really big wick, okay, and it's rejected those lows. But look at the volume, it's rejected those lows on high volume. Okay, so when we move down here, there was lots of those speculators that wanted to buy, so that all of a sudden the brokers ran out of buyers, so we had to put the price up, and more people got on board, and that volume was a lot higher on that rejection. Plus also we can see here this big red candle before, even though it had lower volume, both these candles together form a bullish harami as well, and this is pretty much like a hammer, this single candlestick pattern there. But that hammer, that rejection on the lows with high volume is very, very important there. That's a signal that no one's interested in now in selling anymore. People are more interested in buying. As you can see, we had a little lull and then we start to move up in volume again. Okay, so this is piercing line, and what you'll see with the piercing line is usually you get this red body candle here, so the volume's picked up slightly as we're coming down. You get a gap down here, but there's hardly any sellers, there's more buyers, and it comes back up again here, but with lower volume. It's the following candle that's really, really important here. This massive increase in volume with this piercing line on that following candle, the follow-up candle, is very, very important. That's confirmed that pivot point, and it's starting to move away, and you've got that accumulation volume there where there's more buyers wanting to get into the market, so that lifts the price up. But then there's a hell of a lot more buyers than the previous time that the previous candle dictated, so you get that increase in price action. Whoops. Okay, so the next one is a bullish engulfing. Now this is a really strong and powerful candlestick pattern, but also with volume. Okay, so if you get it without volume, it's not as strong. So we can see here, when we talked about say what you see, we can see an increase in volume for 3 candles there as we're coming down. So that's distribution. Okay, there's more sellers, there's more sellers, and more sellers, and then we gap down, and guess what? There's no more sellers. There's more buyers. More buyers want to get into the market, and that massive volume on that big candle, which engulfs that previous red candle, that bullish engulfing with that high volume, is a good rejection of those lows there. And it's obviously the opposite way round for shorts. Usually you will see the follow-up candle has lower volume. In this case, with the piercing line, it has higher volume because it's what we call, it's not as strong a pivot, that piercing line, but a bullish engulfing, a good bullish engulfing has high volume at a pivot. And then the follow on, you get the higher high, higher low, but it's usually lower volume. Okay, so this is a bullish harami again, and pretty much like when we talked about that first instance, the bearish candle would usually be more volume than the little baby. It's a pregnant lady, if you like. It's got a really big red body here and a little bump in front, which is green. That usually is less volume than this, because we get this big move down, it closes near the lows, but then it gaps up. Because there's more buyers, and then it just continues to move up, but the range of that candle is much smaller. Okay, and usually the volume is less. But again, when you're doing all of this, you're looking at the candlestick patterns, and then you're looking down at the subchart. You're trying to figure out what's going off, whether it's accumulation, distribution, where it has less volume or more volume than the previous candle. So it dictates whether it's accumulation, distribution, or just low volume. What we've done is developed something, and I'll go through it again in a minute, is that we will look for really, really strong signals, but we're colouring the candles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to escape from there, and I'm going to go and show you some examples on stocks and crypto, and we'll look at some, I'll try and find some on futures, if you like. So if anybody's got anything they want me to look at with regards to this, and now this is a new indicator, it's available for Ninja Trader. This is the TradingView version, Thinkorswim and TradeStation at the moment. And what it does is colours the candles. Now this is pretty cute in that it shows you where the high volume is to the up and the downside. So let's go through a little bit of a key, what the colours mean. So green is an up candle but with high volume. It's an accumulation candle, okay? A grey candle is an up candle but with less volume than that previous candle. So you can see as we move up here, we've got a big accumulation candle here. You can see the volume here just to show you, but one of the things is to clean up your chart so you can get rid of the volume down at the bottom and you can see what's going off here. Then you can see we get this spinning top on low volume, and then we come down. The cyan candle is a down candle but with low volume. So that's a bearish engulfing but with low volume. Look what happens next. We get an accumulation candle that rejects those lows, and then we start to move up again. So green is up candle with higher volume, accumulation candle. Grey is an up candle but with lower volume, so the juice may be running out here. The red candle is distribution, so it's increasing volume to the downside. Now when we go to those candlestick patterns that we just went through, this is the NDB on the weekly time frame. I'm trading this right now, swing trading this, my entries on this green line here. But one of the things that really helps me at this pivot point is this rejection candle here, this spinning top. This wick here is massive. It comes down to the lows and it's printed in green, so it's higher volume than this big red candle here. So that's a good sign that we are turning around. Then, as I said before, usually you get that you get the follow-on candle, slightly lower volume, but then we get some indecision, and the next week we push up high volume, higher highs, higher lows. So what we're in a state with now is we're getting higher highs, higher lows, but the volume is dropping off. Now this is only Tuesday this week, okay, so there's a long way for this week to close, but if we get another green candle here, that's really cool, because that it just shows that momentum's picking up. Now if we go grey and then next week is grey, we get 3 grey candles on the trot, we are running out of juice and there's probably going to be a pullback. So it allows you to understand what's potentially going off here with that volume. So not only have we used that green rejection candles, because again we get rid of the volume here. Let's clean up the chart. We know that is a rejection on higher volume than this big red candle. That's a good pivot point. Then we get the follow through, then we get another higher volume candle here, and I've entered just above here on that long, and then we just need to manage that. So but if we go down to this on the daily time frame, I wanted to show you this on the daily time frame also with the same color coding here. I've got an expert algo signal coming up here on this high. Look at the volume on this day here, really big high volume that gaps up from these lows and just keeps going here. And then these are our daily candles here. Again, one grey, one indecision, okay, candle here, then a grey, then green, then grey. If we can go green grey, that momentum will still can go in. If we start to get 3 days in a trot where it's grey candles, we're moving up, but it's like the top of a roller coaster. It's running out of juice and it may come back for a pullback, and the volume helps us understand that, those accumulation and distribution days. So I'm going to go to Ethereum now. I should be on the daily time frame. Okay, this is Ethereum USDT. I really want to go Ethereum USD, so bear with me a second. Coinbase. Okay, so there's no set rule for this, but what I want to show you is this here, this pullback had a rejection on high volume. Now it wasn't a green candle, it was a distribution candle, but what it shows you was that was a 6, without measuring it I could say that's probably a 618 retracement on that day. So that was quite a big rejection on high volume. Now, although it was a red day and it was distribution day, we rejected the lows on high volume. You can see then how we pull up the next day on Ethereum with a grey candle, great, but then the volume, that's lower than this volume. Then the next day we reject the lows, but it's on lower volume, we get a higher high, higher low. Then the following day we get a higher high, higher low, but with a grey candle again. So the volume's running out of juice to the upside, and then you see there's a pullback. We get that initial cyan candle low volume, but then we get some more volume coming in here, but then it runs out of juice again. You can see how this volume starts to pick up but runs out of juice. What we're looking for on this previous bull move with Ethereum is more green candles in there, that momentum keep on going. And when we see that those accumulation days, we know that momentum's going. You can see that to the downside, but right now we are not getting follow-on candles. We're getting one red rejection here, but then we're getting grays. We've got one red down day, but it runs out of juice. We've got one green day with increased volume, those accumulations, but then we run out of juice again, low volume. One high volume down day, runs out of juice. Two volume low days there. So these red days, we rejected highs with high volume, so we had a distribution day, but then we rejected those lows on high volume that day, and we're just going round and round. And now, you know, when are we going to actually pop out of this range that we're in right now? That range is contracting, but we can see the contraction in volume with this color coding system as well. There's a lot more grays and cyans than greens and reds. We can see the candle, the price action, the range of the candles is smaller. We can see the volume is lower. So visually, we can see that contraction coming along on Ethereum. So again, this is just it's at 59 bucks. But what it does, it gives you a real good visual on the volume with the price action, because it's coloring the candle, so you can understand. And I call it juice. You know, once we get some juice and it keeps going, and we're getting those accumulation days and it's going up like this here, it's really good. But then you can go to smaller time frames as well. So if we go to oil, for example, let's change this. Let's go to here. Okay, I'm just going to put it on normal candles for now. Okay, so now traditionally with futures, this is the 5-minute time frame, a big favorite of mine for trading oil. We get the 4, the 6, the 4 and the 6 star buy on the XBRAT. But more importantly, what I'm looking for is how to manage this trade and get the most out of it. So as part of our sort of day trading bundle, we use the EMA Cloud. Now that's always quite conservative. Now if you're a day trader that likes to take those maximum profit near the highs, you can use this color coding system with the volume, you know, green, 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 grey, green, grey, you know, the volume's there, but then the volume starts to pick up. We've got red, neutral, red, green, so we've not got that follow through, and then we get that push again, and then we get that little pullback, but only with low volume, and then the volume starts to pick up again, green, 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 green. So we're getting those accumulation candles every 5 minutes, more volume coming in. But then two grey candles, red candle, green, cyan, red, grey, red. So the volume, there's more red candles coming in here at this point. So you can really tighten your stops, or even just get out. Your first red candle, you would say, okay, that's increased volume to the downside. If it comes below this previous candle, the grey candle, I'm getting out. You know, the entry for this trade was around about 71.25. okay, you know, this is a 71.85. That's a $600 trade by just simply understanding that behavior. Now you take your $600 profit, you see it come back and test the EMA Cloud, and then you start to get accumulation. We're above all of these highs. Why don't you go long again? Until you start to see, you know, you've got a cyan and a grey there. It's running out of juice. It's going to come back down again. very simple technique, looking at the price action and the volume together, and with it being colored in the candles, it's really cool. How many candles should you trade? I mean, you keep going until you run out of juice. With this green here, okay, as soon as you get two grays and a red, the red is a higher volume than the grey candle, and to the downside, you've got to start thinking about getting out. You know, then you get cyan, which is a down candle but less volume. Then you get that, you get out. But then you can see accumulation candles, volumes coming in again, get in here, do a quick scalp for 200 bucks and get out again. Where is it on the website? So if we just bring the website over, for TradingView, you will see it here, and I'll give you a link in the chat. Everything looks big at the moment. We're doing some work on the website. So volume behavior, it's called. There it is, 59 bucks. And I'll put the link in the chat for the TradingView version. If you go onto the website, if you're watching this video and you're trading, you're using NinjaTrader, Think or Swim or TradeStation, and eventually we'll have MT4 and MotiveWave as well. Just click on to the particular platform and you're just looking for volume behavior there. Okay, let's take that off. So it's a very simple tool. It's not a lot of money, but it gives you really good understanding of that volume and the price action together. Okay, so let's have a look at, you're not going to be able to use this forex, guys, unless your forex broker provides volume, which some do. So let's go to my currencies, euro, US dollar, yes. Okay, so I think I'm using FXCM on TradingView, and that does give volume as well. Okay, so probably 10-minute time frame using this particular instrument, maybe 15 even. Oof, blimey. Okay, so here we can see, yes, we got the 4, 5, 6 star buy, but we're getting increased volume. We're getting distribution, 3 distribution candles there. If you haven't got the expert and not got those 4 and 5 and 6 star sells, 3 distribution candles is a pretty good say to go short. And you can see here, these cyan candles are down candles but less volume, but then we pick up volume again. We have one green candle, I call it a one candle wonder. Okay, then we get a down candle again. We have another one candle wonder, green, then grey, runs out of juice, then a red distribution again. One candle wonder, distribution, down candle but lower volume. You just see that momentum, and that color coding works extremely well when you're trying to trade. I mean, this is euro US dollar on FXCM on the 15-minute. We've gone through CL, we've looked at stocks, we've looked at cryptocurrency. As part of understanding how a market's behaving is looking at volume and price action, and that's really key to successful trading. And this little tool, this little add-on for 59 bucks it's a must-have little tool, because there's so much you can do with it. Even if we go to, I don't know, Canadian dollar futures here, for example. Let's go, oh, I mean, here again, look, how would you manage this trade? We've got a 6 star sell here on the XPRAT, keeps coming down, but then look, cyan, green, cyan, grey, red, increased volume to downside, but it's just not going. It's in indecision doji, even though there's more volume. And then look at that next candle there, closes near the high on increased volume. Get out. Okay, there's lots of ways of using this, and I just think, you know, no matter what you're trading, whether it's Ethereum or, I don't know, BTC USDT on the 5 minutes, okay, the volume is there to help you understand that behavior. Okay, we can see here, okay, look at this bullish harami down here. We get a great short coming down, Okay, we've got these, we break this pivot point here, we've got a distribution candle that closed at the lows, okay, going short, and then all of a sudden we talked about these bullish haramis where we've got this increased volume to the downside with the red candle there. Excuse me, just gonna have a drink. But then we form the bullish harami with an up candle with a grey with less volume. Remember, it's that following candle that's important, high volume. Okay, so that's telling us it's coming away from that pivot. Get out of that short trade or go long. Okay, lots of opportunities. I will probably make 1 or 2 videos a month on different market conditions. As I see them, I'll make training videos. I just wanted to go live on this just to show you. We will put the recording on the website, but it's a great little tool to understand volume. It cleans up your chart. Take that volume subchart away, because tomorrow you're not going to look down, you're just going to keep an eye on those candles, especially if you're day trading. But also, again, look, go back to MDB on the weekly. It's very, very clear to me. If I now just show you why I'm trading it as well, because I'm trading an Elliott wave, 5th wave move on the weekly time frame. I had a wave 4 pullback. The wave 4 pivot was a high volume rejection. Okay, it's a green candle, so it's higher volume than that one. That spinning top, high volume at the wave 4 pivot, fantastic move, starts to move away, got that momentum again with that accumulation day, and that's me in this trade. Okay, so again, I didn't show that Elliott wave first, but just on the volume you can see that's a great pivot. But when that happens on a wave 4 pullback, that 5th wave that I'm looking for with that target of $500 also becomes, you know, achievable, because you've had what we call a classic type wave 4 pullback. All the rules have been met, and you've got that rejection at that wave 4 pivot with high volume. So really, really cool. So thank you for coming along, and we'll get this recording up on the website, because I think it's a great little tool and it will really help you understand the behavior of the instrument you're trading. Okay guys, my software's gone a bit funny. I don't know how to stop the usually I've got a little button to stop the stream, but it's not working. So let me just have a quick look on here again. Okay. I'm just going to log out.